Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dirty Martini. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're having an amazing day. It has been a while since I have complained about the weather, but I guess some traditions are traditions for a reason. I kid you not, the second July started, the second the clock showed 12 midnight on July 1st, the temperatures dropped with 10 or 12 degrees, and it started pouring rain as if there's no tomorrow. And to be honest, I feel somewhat personally responsible for this because I finally decided to put away my winter jackets and my chunky sweaters. And of course, according to Murphy's Law, the second I did that, winter was revived. It has been terrible, and what is pissing me off even more is that when I talk to my parents in the evenings, they complain how hot it is in Bulgaria, where there's currently 34 degrees, and they're wearing shorts and tank tops and are sunbathing. And here, I'm freezing at 15 degrees, and I have closed my windows and I sleep with a duvet and I go out with hoodies and winter jackets. But back home, they just installed AC in our house, so at home is the place to be. But I'm here for 2 more weeks, or actually by the time you guys hear this, I might have already gone home. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because I'm recording 3 episodes in 1 week because I have a lot on my plate in the upcoming days, and I refuse this to stop me from giving you a podcast every week. I refuse to let anything stop me from giving you a podcast. I actually cannot wait for all those things that are coming my way. I will tell you everything when it's over because I've told you before, I'm extremely superstitious, so I just keep things to myself until they become reality. But all I can say is that I have lots of traveling to destinations I have been dreaming about since I was a child, and I'm just beyond excited. The trips I actually planned a year ago, and they're finally here, and it is so surreal because I have been waiting for them for so long that I never thought the day would actually come. Like the day when I would go on those vacations, I never thought would be. When you dream of something and you imagine it in full detail and you live and sit for a long time with the idea of it, and then eventually the time comes for this thing to happen and you don't know how to act because you just cannot comprehend that it's real. Yeah, that's exactly how I'm feeling. And I won't lie to you, I am very anxious about my upcoming trips for a few reasons. So, first of all, it will sound super superficial, and I recognize this and I want to slap myself for saying this, but I don't have aesthetic outfits for those trips that I'm going to. I haven't bought new day-to-day clothes in forever, and I keep re-wearing the same 3 outfits, and I would just... I know it's superficial, but I would just like to feel and look good on my vacation. I'm also traveling with just a backpack, so, I'm traveling light and packing light. And packing light and packing cute don't always go hand in hand. I went to look for new clothes the other day, and my idea was to buy a sundress and a maxi skirt because those are just timeless staples. But I couldn't find any that spoke to me. And, guys, I have a confession to make. I have never in my life bought anything from Zara. I find their clothes cute, but the way they are made, they just look so unappealing when I put them on. I have never liked a Zara piece of clothing that I have put on. I feel like that store offers clothes for people with a very particular body shape that is just not my body shape. So every time I go there and like something, I go to try it on and I regret it every single time. I regret every single decision that has led me to that exact moment. And I'm sorry, but this had to be said. This had to be addressed. Like, the clothes are cute, but the fit isn't. So I think there isn't any point in me going to Zara anymore. But still, my hopeless self goes there every now and then with the hope that something would look somewhat good on me. And every time I'm beyond disappointed. If someone from Zara is listening, I'm sorry, babe. We're just not a match made in heaven. I'm sure we can figure something out, but for the time being, I think we should just take a break. So I'm saying this just to let you know that I bought neither a maxi skirt nor a sundress. But you know what I bought? Not from Zara, of course. On the 1st of July, I went out and I bought a winter jacket. Guys, it is July and I'm fully prepared for winter. You know how everyone says to buy winter clothes in the summer? Honestly, listen to them because I just bought a super warm winter puffer jacket for 20 euros because they were just trying to get rid of it. So that's an absolute steal. And I'm super happy with that jacket because it is hoodie friendly. Because I bought a size bigger than my usual. And I think I'm so smart for this. And let me just explain why. The puffer jacket I have currently, the puffer jackets I have currently are my size, my true size. But because in winter I layer a lot, it is difficult for me to zip them up or to wear hoodies. And if you know me, you know I live and die for hoodies. So with this one, I decided to size up so that I can layer with my hoodies. And now I will not be cold in the winter. And honestly, that is a massive slay. A woman in STEM, what can I say? Shout out to Giggly Squad for the joke. I'm not stealing it. It's just like so ingrained in my vocabulary to say women in STEM and women in the arts because of them. So I went out to buy a sundress, came back with a chunky warm puffer jacket. But a win is a win, I guess. Now, apart from the very superficial outfit anxiety, I have an actual fear brewing up in me about my upcoming traveling. The first trip I'm going to will be my very first solo trip of the sort. I mean, yes, I moved countries multiple times by myself, but I moved countries with the intention to live there, not just visit for a few days. So when you think about it, maybe moving is a bit scarier. No, it's definitely scarier because it is more permanent than just visiting for a few days. But this one in particular feels super scary because I just don't feel prepared. And the reason I don't feel prepared and feel a bit anxious is because I don't have any more data on my phone. And I know this again sounds super superficial. I think I might have to purchase a prepaid card when I get to that country I'm going to because I will be fully on my own and getting lost is more than likely, especially because I also don't speak the language of the country I'm going to. Wait, I need to go on a media studies rant for a second. Putting that degree to good use, what can I say? So, as a society, We have become so hyper dependent on the internet, and it is actually crazy when you think about it. And just imagine if, God forbid, knock on wood, something was to happen and the internet was to collapse. What would we do as a society when everything has been so digitalized, from money to personal information to travel information and so on and so forth? I feel like everything has been digitalized. That's why there's this, not saying, but like, I don't know what else to call it. So it's the idea that if you don't have something in a tangible form, be it paper or some other analog, offline storage, whatever, it does not exist. Because if the internet were to collapse, what do we do with all our data that has been lost? If, for example, no printed out pictures of you existed and everything was just online, stored in a cloud that just stops working, what do you do? Like, it's super radical of me to say this, but like, how do you prove your existence? We're so dependent on the internet in every single aspect of our life and the current state of our world. I was thinking about this with my sister when she was driving me to the airport last time, and she asked me to turn on the GPS. I remember when we were little, and my sister and I both predate the first iPhone. Yes, we are that old. So yeah, my parents had some sort of Nokias when my sister and I were growing up. And I just remember that when we would go somewhere we had never been before, one of my parents would drive and the other would have a legit paper map and would be super attentive to road signs and everything. And we would never get lost. How did they do it? What sorcery is this? If you gave me a map and told me drive from point A to point B just by following the map, I would get lost within like the first turn. I can only not get lost in my hometown, but my hometown has legit 2 streets and I have walked them for 22 years now, so it would be embarrassing if I didn't know my way there. Although I have this friend who is so disoriented that she got confused once and waited at the wrong bridge. And for reference, we have 2 bridges. Anyways, or I remember my grandparents would tell me stories, and if me and my sister predate the iPhone, then you better believe that our grandparents predate any smart technologies. So I remember how they would tell me stories of how they would drive to a part of Bulgaria they'd never been to and would only follow road signs. I know it sounds super obvious, and I know people have been doing it for hundreds and thousands of years, but I just cannot see myself following a map and getting myself where I need to go problem-free. That's how I know I was born in the right generation. If I'm being really honest with you, I don't think I would have been able to survive in the Netherlands or anywhere else for that matter, but the town I grew up in had there no GPS existed. What was the grammar of that sentence? I wouldn't have been able to survive without GPS, is what I'm trying to say. I know how spoiled this sounds, but I just genuinely wouldn't have been able to make it. I remember when I first moved here 3 years ago, I would use GPS to go to the store because I lacked any sense of orientation. However, I need to point out that I pay attention to everywhere I go, so once I've gone a certain direction, I can easily find my way back. But to be honest, okay, here's the thing. If you've never been to the Netherlands and you plan on visiting it, here is a pro tip for you. Trust me, I have tried it multiple times over the years, and it has blown up in my face so many times, like every single time, that I finally learned my lesson. So one of the first things I noticed when I moved here is that, how do you even explain it? Okay, so imagine you're going in a straight line and you have a turn to your right next to you. And you have a turn to the right 20 meters in front of you. And there is a street on your right that is parallel to the one you're walking. Now, if this were back home, no matter which one of the two turns you take, you would end up on the street that's parallel to yours. Here, what I've come to notice is that this is absolutely not the case. It has been proven to me time and time again that if I were to take the second instead of the first turn, I won't just end up 20 meters ahead on the parallel street, but would end up in a whole another neighborhood. I cannot explain to you how many times I have got lost here because of this. Urban planning in certain regions here genuinely doesn't make sense. So that's why I'm super grateful for the existence of GPS. And when you think about it, GPS fully revolutionized the navigation system for the day-to-day stuff, and also on a broader scale, of course. We live... Okay, the media scholar geek in me right now is so happy that I get to talk about this. But like when you think about it, we live in an unseen before environment. We live in unseen before circumstances and unseen before infrastructure, like navigation of infrastructures. And what I mean by this is the fact that now, for the first time in the history of cartography, that's what it's called, right? Cartography, the study of maps, right? Yeah, so we use maps nowadays for the first time in the history of humanity, which follow every single move of ours and which redirect our paths and are extremely precise and are attainable even to the uneducated in reading maps mind. Now, nowadays, we don't even need to follow the stars or the direction of the flow of the river. Now we just need to start walking, and the GPS will recalculate and redirect us as many times as needed. Isn't this fascinating? I don't know, it just makes me so wowed. Whoever came up with GPS, I hope you're having a lovely day. You're most likely dead, so in that case, I hope you rest in peace. You really ate with this one. Now, another reason I am really anxious about my first trip in particular, because on my second one, I will be going with a local. I will not have to worry about any of those stuff that I previously mentioned, apart from the outfits, but like we already discussed this, it doesn't necessarily matter. So another reason I'm really anxious about my first trip in particular is because the lucky girl I am, reconstruction of train rails starts when I'm supposed to go to the airport. And now you may be thinking, okay, so? Well, that, my friends, is a big problem. And it is a big problem because I have an early morning flight. And now, with this reconstruction, the first train cannot get me to the airport on time because a trip that's usually 3.5 hours is now going to be between 4 and 4.5 hours. So I'm planning and scheming to see how I'm going to get to the airport because there are no buses and I don't want to have to spend hotel money for staying there just for 5 hours. I'm sorry, I'm cheap, I don't care, but it's not worth it. And the thing is, the airport I'm flying from closes from midnight until 4:30. And so I cannot even go crash there at a bench or something. Like, I could potentially, Martina, breathe. I could potentially go and chill again in the parking lot of the airport. But why would I do this to myself? Especially when I'm going on vacation and want to have a good time, I cannot afford to have back pain from sleeping on stairs, and I cannot afford to get hypothermia from sleeping on stairs. I just want to have a chill travel experience, not have to worry about whether I'll make it out alive or not. I'm sorry. I know maybe that's asking for too much, but like, is it? I think I might ask a friend in Amsterdam to let me stay at hers for a few hours because now, with the reconstruction, a trip from Amsterdam to Eindhoven Airport, which is where I'm flying from, instead of being roughly an hour and a half, will go up to 2.5 hours. But if she cannot, accommodate me, I think I will have to catch a bus from my city to Amsterdam at 2 a.m., get to Amsterdam around 5 a.m., and wait an hour and a half for the first train that will take me to Eindhoven. Why couldn't they just wait one more week with the reconstruction? One more week and then I'll be gone and I won't be complaining. Or at least when you're doing reconstruction, provide more options for transportation. I swear, when I die, I will personally take the stairs down to hell to slap the person who owns NSNL, because this isn't the first time they're pulling this number on me. I swear this country just hates me and wants me gone, which is totally valid and totally fair, but bro, why make my life unnecessarily difficult on every single aspect? Because now I'm genuinely screwed and I don't know what to do because all the options suck. Because I would be on the edge of my seat not knowing if I can make my flight or not. And I know I've mentioned before that I usually don't care about being early to the airport, but this is something that I have been looking forward to for forever, and I just want to go on my vacation that I paid for and that I'm looking forward to. But honestly, it won't be me traveling if everything goes smoothly. I just know that I will be awfully exhausted from everything, and my first day in the country I'm going to will be, I wouldn't say wasted, but heavily affected by my exhaustion, which is such a shame. I hope one day I will be able to travel comfortably and will be able to afford hotel stays at terminal for instances like this one, so that I can spare myself all the pressure and the unnecessary stress. But until that day comes, I will be scheming just like this, which is fun for the plot, but not necessarily the best for my mental health. At least I know that if I ever have children, I would be a terribly annoying person saying do you know what I went through to get education? For example, I'll tell them I carried my mattress with my two bare hands for 2 hours just to have something to sleep on. And I slept on the stairs in an airport parking lot with mice all around me. So if I can do this to get my degree, you can write your homework. God, save my potential child. I really dislike the week right before a trip for a very mundane reason, if I'm being honest with you. The days leading to your trip, especially now a trip like mine from which I'm going back home to Bulgaria, I just cannot figure out how to navigate my grocery shopping. Nobody talks about this, and it is so annoying in reality because you don't want to go out and buy a lot of groceries because you're not going to eat all of them within the last few days, but also you don't want to not eat. So it's just very complicated. And what I end up usually doing is just eat pasta and instant noodles for 3 days before I leave. I know this sounds so stupid, but it is just annoying that you have to precisely measure and time everything, which you should usually do, but I don't, so whatever. Because I don't want to fill up on pasta now, especially because, well, I will be eating plenty of pasta where I'm going. Take this as you wish. I have actually just been binging 2 meals, if you can even call them a meal. Well, food items. I make myself tuna sandwiches and some sort of improvised bean and corn chili. They're so easy and cheap to make, and I have been obsessed with them for honestly quite some time now. Please tell me you're also like this so that I don't feel as weird. When I discover some food that I like, I eat it constantly. And I mean constantly, until I never want to eat it ever again. And just the thought of it makes me want to violently throw up. When I first moved here, all I would eat was this teriyaki chicken instant noodles and also avocado toast, and with a cracked egg on top. And I mean, like, that was literally all I would eat for a month. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Well, I don't have breakfast because I'm lazy, but like lunch, dinner, all I would eat. Lazy in the sense that I just didn't grow up having breakfast. To me, breakfast was just an extra 15 minutes of sleep that I could get, and waking up earlier to eat was a waste for me. So I would have my first meal of the day during the lunch break in school, and I just stuck with this routine my entire life. To me personally, dinner is the superior meal of the day, and I'm fine with having a shitty breakfast if I even have breakfast, and I'm fine with having a shitty lunch as long as I have an enjoyable and hearty dinner. Like, dinner for me is a meal, and for every other time of the day I am hungry, I'm totally fine with snacking. Damn, with every word, I'm making myself more and more hungry. Now, if you're a dietitian or a nutritionist and you're listening to this, save your advice. I don't want to hear about the benefits of a varied nutritional diet. That was just so good and was hitting such a great spot and was so comforting. So I ate this 30 times, let's say, for example, And on the 31st time, it made me want to throw up. I fully got the ick, especially because I was cracking an egg on my toast and on my noodles. So, oh my God, when you get the egg ick and you're like, this is the nastiest thing I have ever tasted and I have ever seen, and you don't want to see an egg for at least 6 months? Yeah, exactly. So it took me some time, but I recovered. I revived my relationship with avocado toast in particular. And now I have learned to eat them in moderation, because avocado toast is one of the best things I've ever eaten. And I don't want to get the ick from it and never eat it again, because it is honestly extremely delicious. So I guess moderation will have to be performed. What is going on with my English today? I don't know. But the problem is that I haven't had that particular type of instant noodles in 2 years. I wasn't able to recover my relationship with that food. I wasn't able to un-ick myself. And you know what? I'm not sure I ever will be able to have those noodles ever again. Which is sad, because those are my savior my first year of university. So I really want to reopen that chapter and reintroduce them in my life, because they were so good. Wait, let me look up the brand so that you can try them for yourselves if you want to. Okay, they were the soba chicken teriyaki instant noodles, but the packaged ones, not the cup ones. Go out and try them. I know they're very basic, but they're so good. And just make them. And if you don't have the egg, add the fried egg and add spring onion. And oh my God, I promise you, you're in for a treat. You know what? All this talk is making me extremely hungry. And I think I should challenge myself and reopen the wound of the soba chicken teriyaki instant noodles. Yes, this is exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, guys, I have plans now already to go run to the store, even though it is fully storming outside, and just get myself some memories. So thank you for listening to this week's episode. I will talk to you when I come back from my trips, and will tell you all about them. I cannot wait for those episodes. I'm so excited. So just please, everybody, fingers crossed that everything goes well and I just stay alive and okay, and I don't get irreversibly lost. And hopefully I make it to the airport on time and make my flight, because otherwise, if I don't, this will be the last episode and the last time you ever hear from me. Take it as you wish. So, see you on the other side. Why would I say this? What is wrong with me? Anyways, stay hydrated, wear sunscreen, and don't support genocide. Bye!